Hello YouTube, Anything's Possible Music here. How are we? Now, welcome to video number 50. Now, I did my first video in 2021 and 50 videos later, I'm now in 2024 and I'm just going to give you a recap of the last 3 years and especially the videos that I've done. Now, this video is going to be really helpful for people who have never watched one of my videos before. If you have, thank you very much for continuing to watch these videos. They are designed to make your life easier, save you money, etc, etc. But if you're a new time viewer, then hopefully you can check out some of the previous videos. But in this video I'm just going to show you what I've learned over the last 3 years, where I reckon I'm going to go in the next 3 years, and whether or not it's worth it. So I'm just going to talk about Spotify, promotion, playlisting, Facebook ads, etc like that. Just going to give you a whole sort of view of what I've done over the last 3 years basically, and hopefully this video will help you. So please enjoy this rest of the video. Thank you. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is Spotify in general. Now, I've heard a few stories about how it's going to basically get a lot harder in 2024 and beyond in terms of royalties for unsigned artists like myself. Now, I've heard stories about you need 1,000 streams before you get royalties. Now, that's going to put a lot of people off. It's going to make it harder. You know, it's going to obviously what's going to happen to your budget if you've got to spend X amount of money per year to get 1,000 streams before you even get any money. Is it even worth it? So drop your comments on what you think about Spotify. I think it is going to get a lot harder, but anything's possible, so I'm going to continue with it. I've still got big ideas on terms of releasing music, and everything that I do learn on my journey, I will create a video, hopefully share it with you, and hopefully you can go through the same process as me, basically. So Spotify will get harder this year for a lot of people. If you're a new artist, especially coming into this, you need to think, right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because in the past, you would start getting royalties straight away from being streamed, whereas now apparently you need 1,000 streams just before you start getting any money. I mean, that is really brutal in my opinion. But if you're an experienced artist and you already get 1,000 streams per year quite easily, then it's probably not going to make much of an impact. But if you're a new artist especially, what are you meant to do? How are you going to get 1,000 streams before you even get any royalties? So that's basically Spotify. What I reckon is going to be a much harder journey. So obviously drop your ideas in the comments section. So let's move on to Spotify promotion, shall we? Thank you. So if you've ever watched any of my early videos, you'll probably realise that when I joined Spotify in 2020, I, like most artists, didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was like, right, I've released my music, now what do? I've got no idea how to promote it, and no idea how I'm going to get anyone to stream it. So basically I did get captured by a few of these Facebook ads where you're like, put your music on here and you'll get thousands of streams. And if you've watched the results of some of my early videos, you'll probably realise that it weren't a great idea for me. I spent a lot of money, especially in the first year, and didn't get very far with spending all that money. So my advice to anyone thinking about promoting their music via these playlist curating websites, do your research. I've obviously got 50 videos of the results of some of the playlist campaigns that I've used. Now, there are a couple that I do actually quite like, that I don't have an issue with. I think some of them, if you got a bit of money just to spend on them, just to check them out, they are worth doing, but there are some dodgy fakes out there, so you got to be careful, hence check out my previous videos and see which ones they are. The likes of Imperium Network, who I don't recommend you use, but there are some good ones out there, there are some bad ones, so it's up to you to obviously do your research. That's one thing I'm going to recommend to you. If you're going to spend money on playlist promotion and you see something that looks too good to be true, it probably isn't. So just be careful with any money you spend. You know, I've been there. I've lost a lot of money in the first year, especially. Now I am starting to recuperate a bit of that money through my playlist, in which I'm going to talk about shortly. But for the time being, if you're going to spend money, just make sure you're doing your research first. Um, the videos are there to help you, but just make sure you're not being ripped off, because there's a lot of people out there prepared to rip you off. Okay, so just be careful. So let's move on to my playlist curating, shall we? Cool. So the next thing I'm just going to talk about is playlist curating. Now this has been a massive game changer for me. I decided I'm not going to waste any more money trying to get on playlists. I'm just going to create my own playlist, like you should do as well. Create a few playlists, add your music, add similar music, and then promote it via social media. You can pay to get on places like SoundPlate, which I do recommend you do. I've done that, and that's how I initially grew my playlist, do it via that. But what happens is you grow your playlist, it brings in new followers, brings in new listeners, you change it, add music, etc., etc., and basically over time your playlists grow, your followers grow, your stream numbers grow, and the evidence on my previous video shows that it does work. It is very time consuming. It's cheap, it's easy, but it is time consuming. But it's something I do recommend you do. So you create your playlist, you promote your playlist, you grow your playlist. That brings in the followers, that brings in the streaming numbers. It's not game changing. I mean, eventually it might bring in a lot of things. I mean, my playlist numbers are, I think, around 7,000 followers now. So I do get streams via my playlist, which hasn't cost me anything at the moment. I'm now a premium curator on daily playlist, which you might see on my previous video. So that actually brings in more money than my streaming does now. So that is something I highly recommend you do. Grow your playlist, create playlists, etc., 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 and hopefully you can grow as an artist via that. So that's something in 2024 I highly recommend you do. So keep your playlist going, and hopefully you can watch them grow. So let's talk about Facebook ads now, shall we? Cool. So the next section is just going to be Facebook ads. Now, I am certainly no expert on it. I mean, I have tried it. I've tried it a few different times. I personally don't see how it's a very good use of your budget. I mean, for example, I might spend £5 a day on Facebook ads, and I'll get something like 5p's worth of streams from it. So there are a lot of videos out there on Facebook ads to grow your audience, but I personally have never benefited from the Facebook video ads that I've done. Now, it's something that I might obviously try again. You might obviously want to watch a few videos on Facebook ads, etc., for growing your music, but ultimately I don't see the point of them, because there's so little money in terms of your Facebook streams that the outlay that you have to do per day just doesn't make much sense. I mean, I've seen people spending £25 per day on Facebook ads just to get a few hundred streams. It's like, I just don't see the point of it personally. You might think I'm wrong. Obviously drop a comment if you think Facebook ads are actually a really good idea, but I've personally never seen the benefit of them to grow my music. I've obviously gone into playlist curating, which I know is free and brings in streams. It's not a game changer by any means. I'm not promoting like I'm going to get thousands of streams via it, but you can get a lot of streams via Facebook ads. But I just think the money you got to spend on them per day, the quality of them has to be also extremely good. I mean, if you've watched some of my previous videos, my Facebook ads weren't brilliant. They were literally like still images. If you've ever seen like Facebook Reels and all these flashy sort of things going on to sort of hook people into them. So I would say if you're going to do a Facebook ad, you need to obviously get very good at creating adverts first before you do them. Don't just go into still images like that. It won't benefit you at all, I think. So Facebook ads is something I might give another go to. As I start earning a bit more money from my premium curating business, I will probably give them a go. But I would say if you want to do a Facebook ad, obviously learn how to do videos and adverts, but first, make sure they're proper good adverts before you go into Facebook ads, because otherwise they're just really not a good use of your budget. That's from my experience and from the evidence of my videos. It's like, you're going to spend money per day to get very little back unless you've got a very good advert that hooks in people. So I don't recommend you do Facebook ads until you're very good at creating Facebook ads. Get better at that. So that's that bit. So just to summarise, Spotify is getting harder. If you have a following already of large network social media presence, then you're probably going to be okay. But if you're still relatively new, I mean, I'm 3 years in now, and I still feel pretty new. I mean, I do have just over 3,000 followers on my Spotify profile, which is not bad for the amount of hard work I put into it. But you can see a lot of people struggle. I mean, I've heard stats like 90% of Spotify artists will fail. So it's difficult, So I do recommend you do your research. You just do your research on everything you do. In terms of just Facebook ads, playlist promotions, Spotify bots, etc. I mean, it's a tough old jungle out there. It's there's a lot of people that are out there to rip you off, and I've been there. I've been a victim of it. So I would say definitely don't let your hopes and dreams get shattered by Spotify, because it is getting harder. It's just can't deny it. But anything's possible in my world. So what I learn, I will share. Obviously, I'll put everything in the description for you to enjoy, and remember to subscribe and hopefully enjoy my future videos. And I wish you all the best, really. I mean, it's difficult, but you've got to keep going, Just, I thoroughly hope you do well in your careers, and just keep going, So anything's possible if you put your mind to it. So all the best, and speak soon.